Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I have a great show today. You know, every single time something comes across my desk from my team of people that are really knocking the cover off the ball, people that really are leading their industry in their specific space, we always reach out to them and we want to have them on the show to investigate their journey, investigate what they're doing, and talk about their business model. And something came across our desk. I mean, you can't really go online without running into these guys. I mean, they're doing an amazing job with their business. Charlie Corsello and, of course, his co-founder, Manny Vetti, are on the show today. They've got an amazing company called TaxCure. And really what they've built is probably the preeminent marketplace for taxpayers to connect with professionals throughout the United States. They're doing such a great job on the back end of the system. And wow, it's just packed with so much information. I love the website and they're just really doing a great job with it. So I wanted to invite him on the show. So Charlie, let's start with you. Welcome to the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thanks for having us.
Charlie, it's great to have you. Manny, of course, you're doing such a great job, you know, with the content and the algorithm as well. Manny, welcome to the .com magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Let's get going. Let's get started. Let's go to Charlie. Charlie, as you know, what we like to do to start off the show, we pull the lens back to 30,000 feet and we sort of talk generally about the business. Tell us about what you're doing at TaxCure, Charlie, and then we're going to get into it.
Sure. So TaxCure is the first marketplace that provides guidance for taxpayers with tax problems, whether that's with the IRS or a state tax agency. But we're allowing taxpayers to easily connect with professionals who have this experience, right? So if you're if you're an enrolled agent, a CPA, or a tax attorney, which are they're able to represent taxpayers in front of the IRS and certain state tax agencies. You want to make sure that you're connecting with the one that has experience, right? Because not all, for example, attorneys or CPAs do this type of work, right? The industry is largely dominated by big players, right, with heavy marketing budgets, and a lot of taxpayers do prefer to work with local professionals. So we're providing them the ability to find them easily and actually look at their credentials and see who's working their case, which is not always the situation that you see in the market today. A lot of times these big providers, they hire sales reps that are unlicensed. You don't even know who's working your case in many cases before until you sign up, right? So we're trying to provide a tool or platform to not only help professionals be found and get more clients, but to help taxpayers, find local professionals that they can work with to resolve their problem.
Yeah, it's such a great idea. Of course, you vet all the people that come on the platform. The professionals are looked at, and then, of course, you put them into this very massive directory that does such amazing things, especially online with the Google algorithm and for people searching. So let's talk about that a little bit, Manny, because, you've got a great expertise. And by the way, Charlie and Manny, I mean, if I went over all their accolades and what they've done in their careers, I'd be talking for 30 minutes. I wouldn't even get to the interview. Manny, let's talk about it a little bit. What does it look like when somebody finds, TaxCure and they're having a tax problem? How easy is it for them to sort of register or get online and start talking to a professional in their area?
Yeah, so we've developed, this great algorithm that helps people find the professional that they're most likely to hire and is best suited to resolve their tax problem and do the work. So we made an algorithm that has like a whole bunch of factors in there where it takes into account the location. And then say somebody has, a tax lien or they have a tax levy or, if it's with the IRS or if it's with a certain state agency, the search allows you to filter based on those things and only shows the professionals that actually match those certain requirements. And it takes into account a lot of factors. So you're going to get a professional with that type of experience exactly. And yeah, the website itself, has a lot of content. We've got about 20 to 30,000 taxpayers with problems coming to the website every month that are looking for help in resolving their problems. So we provide guides, either do it themselves or they could connect with a professional. And it's very easy. We made it where, you could sort and filter by the top professionals, and you could just easily click to message. And we got other features coming, and you could, message goes right to the pro. You get their contact information. You could call them up, and it's very easy just to connect and get a free consultation or get an analysis from a tax pro and see what they could do.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. And of course, Charlie, back to you. You have, and Manny has, an expertise in helping these taxpayers, and you've taken that knowledge base, that combined power of you and Manny and your entire team, and then put it toward this marketplace. So let's talk about how that evolved, Charlie, a little bit.
Yeah. So, I ended up working for Google and getting involved with search in general. But when we decided to leave our corporate jobs years ago, we created a marketing company to help different firms, and we ended up focusing on tax resolution or tax controversy, and we helped many of these big firms grow their companies in terms of the marketing side, and we learned a lot along the way that many taxpayers wanted someone local, and that sometimes these big firms weren't the best. For example, you have a New York State tax problem. You probably want to work with a professional in New York State, because that's many of the cases that they're resolving, right? And so we realized that it could be done better, and there really wasn't a mechanism or a site out there to help these taxpayers find local professionals. So we decided to try to solve that problem. The other big issue is a lot of these professionals, some of the best professionals I've met in the industry and have the most experience, aren't the best marketers, right? They're not the best at marketing. And so we provide that platform for them as well to be found. And we have a lot more coming in the works to help them. But that's really, what we're trying to solve is help that professional that's not great at marketing, but also help that taxpayer find someone local. Because if you just look up, a CPA or an attorney or an EA, just because they have that credential does not mean they understand and have the experience to resolve your tax problems, right? It's a very niche business, very specialized, but that's what we're trying to solve at this point.
Yeah, Charles, that makes all the sense in the world. Each state has a different tax code. Some of these tax problems are not just federal, but they're state problems. So a lot of times it makes sense to go local, and especially if you want to see and feel and touch your professional, go down to their office, maybe meet and greet with them, and know that you're working with somebody, in a local area really makes sense, especially for those state tax problems that so many people have. Now, one thing that you guys are doing, which is fantastic, and Manny, I'll direct this question to you, is, wow, you have so much great information on the website, so many opportunities for people to learn about what to do, how to do it, the challenges that they're faced with, and then how to go forward in a positive way. Manny, where did this idea come from that you and Charles have, that we want to just fill up this website and this platform with so much great information for our clients?
Yeah, so this website's actually been a work in progress for probably about 8-9 years, where we've been generating content, making guides. We've been working with some top tax professionals too from around the country and helping write these different guides to provide guidance. So we wanted to make an area where it's either, hey, you could come here and do self-help and figure out, how to resolve your problem on your own, or, you could go and find a professional. So, this was originally a different type of website where we were just making a lot of content, working with different partners, but now we wanted to add the marketplace on top of it. So then people could actually find the best person in their area, that if they're reading this piece of content, and they have that problem, then they can connect with the professional that is the best to resolve that particular problem in their area.
Yeah, I love it so much. And Charles, you mentioned something very interesting, of course, that there's a lot of tax pros, a lot of tax professionals, CPAs, most of them that really, they didn't go to school for marketing. They didn't go to school for, figuring out how to attract customers. So they know what they know how to do, but they need to reach out to a company, of course, like TaxCure and say, hey, I'm not the greatest at marketing, but I'm really great at solving people's tax problems. So let's make a partnership so you can help me with the marketing of my business. Is that the idea behind it, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we found. I mean, some of the best professionals are not the best marketers, and it's sad because the taxpayers should be working with the most experienced, tax professional for their specific problem. You'll have certain services that even these professionals do not offer, and so it can save taxpayers a lot of time when they come to our site because they can filter by specifically what their problem is and connect with a professional that can solve that problem, right? So versus, making a bunch of calls after a Google search and seeing if they can get help. It's really trying to, save time for the taxpayer, but also help these professionals by providing, a platform for them to attract customers from. And we plan on offering, like I said, more services in the future, to help them as well, because this is kind of the space Manny and I really have a lot of experience with. And we've really taken a focus by focusing on this niche or subset of the tax industry.
Yeah, I love it so much. Charles, I want to stay with you for a minute, or Charlie, of course. What's the onboarding look like when a tax professional hears about TaxCure? They're in an online, forum, or they're on a Zoom call with all the tax professionals. Everybody's talking about all the great, sort of connections that are being made through TaxCure. What's the onboarding process for a new professional that wants to come into the TaxCure platform?
Sure. So it's pretty easy. I mean, there's the For Tax Professionals button at the top. They click that button and they can sign up. We then, validate their license, right? Whether that's they're an enrolled agent or attorney or CPA, we validate it, make sure they're licensed. Look at the disciplinary actions if there's any, and if they look good, we approve them, and then we send them videos and basically instructions to build their profile. I will reach out and also help them optimize their profile so that, because the algorithm that Manny helped build, it looks at profile completion and a few other things because we want to show taxpayers, fully completed profiles. So, we'll optimize it, but it's a pretty simple process. We do, want them to get some reviews. It doesn't have to be for any clients they got through TaxCure. It could be past clients, but really to just get some reviews and then to select in their profile what their focus is. What type of taxpayer do they help? Do they help nonprofits, right? Do they help LLCs or C corps and that, and then the agencies, obviously, like, do they just do IRS? What states do they help with, and what specifically, with those states or with the IRS, what problems can they address, right? And so it's a little bit more than just having a generic profile of a professional. We want them to be specific because that's going to benefit them in the sense that they're only going to get contacted by taxpayers, for problems they can address, right? That's a key to our system.
Yeah, I love it so much. Everything you do on the platform, when we looked at it, is really based on making sure the professional has a seamless experience and making sure the client that comes on the website with the tax problem has a seamless experience. Let's talk about that a little bit because it's just so apparent. You guys have spent so much time and energy and effort on making this seamless experience for everybody coming to the platform. Manny, when a customer comes to the platform and they see the tax professional perhaps that they've been matched with, what does that look like? Do they get a call back? Do they put some information in a lead form? How do they get connected in such a fast way through TaxCure?
Yeah, so right now it's just pretty simple. It's just a message, and it's kind of like a lead form that they fill out with some basic information, and they select what agencies they have a problem with and send a message, and then that information is just delivered right off to the tax pro, and the tax pro gets an email with the information, and also the taxpayer gets the information of the tax pro, and then they could connect offline. So also another point I wanted to make too is that for the pros, this is 100% free. So right now it's free. The membership, the basic membership's always going to be free, so there's no charge. And also it's a great place. Once a pro makes an account as well, they get a great listing. So if they Google search their name, do a search in the search engines for their name, they're going to show highly in the search engine. It's going to show all this great information about them. So even if the taxpayer heard about the pro somewhere else and they're doing their research, to figure out, hey, is this person really good? Because, you could say whatever you want on your own website and you could look great on your own website, but they always want to get third-party references before making that decision. And TaxCure really highlights those positive aspects about the pro and helps people move forward, that even if they don't reach out directly through TaxCure, it does help get more clients in the long run. And we also have more things we're going to add on in the future to make it easier for clients to reach out, having a click to call button and make it easier to connect, and providing tax pros more tools to help grow their practice even more. So yeah.
I love it. That's a great piece of information for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show. Rewind, of course, what Manny just said. There's a lot to learn there, because let's say somebody hears about a tax professional in their area. Well, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to Google that person, right? And then what happens is, if they have this sort of biography, if you will, on TaxCure, this page about themselves with their photo and their information and their expertise, Google's going to sort of resonate with the TaxCure page, and that page is going to show up in Google. And then what's going to happen is that potential customer will go to TaxCure's website where that professional has their information. It's just a great piece of information. It's a great piece of branding. It's a great piece of marketing for the particular tax pro to be on the platform, because it gives them instant credibility, of course, social validation, social proof. It's a wonderful platform. Now, Charlie, let's go back to you just for a minute, because you've got a lot of things on tap. I know you can't tell us all about it because some of them are super confidential, but where does TaxCure go from here? What's the next evolution for the business?
So we're basically going to offer, a membership that's going to provide other features. As Manny was talking about, the click to call, and adding additional benefits for them from webinars to help them actually succeed. Because again, we did own a firm in the past doing this. So we have more than just marketing experience. I can provide sales experience as well. And, most of them are not the best at, not, I wouldn't say most of them, but a lot of them need some help with sales as well. But I wanted to pinpoint that, our goal is to provide transparency in this market. A lot of times you'll see these companies advertising, but you don't know who's actually working your case, or what professionals are on staff. I don't know about you, but if I was getting surgery, I'd probably want to look at the surgeon's credentials and experience. And it's very similar here. We're, trying to provide transparency in an industry that has had some bad apples, that has had some, companies, get shut down and by authorities. And we're looking to really improve that, so that there's, a better experience for taxpayers. And more importantly, they're going to get, I think, better servicing in the end, because, you're understanding who you're working with before they start to work your case.
Yeah, I love it. Maybe you're building the most transparent platform in this space that's ever been sort of produced. And it's real exciting to have you both on the show. I love it so much. Really, that's the key. And what you're doing, with the professionals, with the potential clients that are getting serviced by so many top-notch people throughout the country is really remarkable. I know you've both only cut out a certain amount of time. I know it's tax time coming up, and some letters I think are going to start flowing probably from the IRS very, very soon to some folks that are going to need to reach out to TaxCure and to some professionals to help get them, the help that they need. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. Manny, we'll start with you because, of course, we have younger entrepreneurs that watch the show, and sometimes they get into a pothole. Sometimes they hit a tough time. Sometimes they hit a wall they can't get through. So, Manny, based on your experience, I'm hoping you might be able to give some insight to the younger entrepreneurs watching the show about what it takes to get through those tough times as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely always going to be tough times. I know Charlie and me, when we first started this whole thing back in the day, Charlie was working for Google. I was working in San Diego for, doing accounting work at Sempra Energy, and we were working late nights. And I mean, it's just having that drive to push through and just knowing you're going to eventually get there and just, take in those small wins and those steps and, realize you're going to have setbacks and don't let them, destroy you. Like every setback you have, it's a learning experience. We started the marketing company. We learned some stuff from there. We went on to start a tax resolution company, realized what we really enjoyed and realized, things that can improve in the market. And you just keep learning from things that maybe didn't go right, or, you could do them better. Just keep learning from, failures or experiences to make things better and uses it as excitement to move forward with the next project and just keep positive and keep pushing and things will kind of happen. It's great.
Yeah, that's great advice based on your experience, Manny. Before I jump over to Charlie, I wanted to thank you for coming on the DotCom magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series as the co-founder of TaxCure. You're doing such great work with not only the content, but the algorithm and everything else that you're working on. You're providing a incredible, transparent platform for the tax professionals and the people that visit that need the tax help. So, Manny, congratulations on what you're doing, and thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's bounce over to Charlie. Same question, Charlie, for the younger entrepreneurs hitting that pothole. What kind of advice can you give to them to get through that pothole in the road and come out the other side feeling very happy that they went through that problem and they came through it with flying colors?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously, everything is not always going to go as planned when you start a business. But as Manny was mentioning, you want to learn from your mistakes. But you really got to have that drive to continue to fight because it's going to be a rocky road. I think you also have to have a dream of and see the problems that you're trying to solve and figure out a way to effectively solve them. So, my recommendation for entrepreneurs is to, definitely, if you don't have a drive, don't start a business, but make sure that, you have solutions to solve a problem or what you believe and always be testing, right? Always test and get feedback from your clients, from your customers, to continuously improve. And that would be a key point. I think that, you definitely want to get constant feedback from who you're trying to serve.
I love it. That's great advice. And for the entrepreneurs watching the show, rewind what Charlie just said. I mean, he kind of gave you a little mini Harvard MBA, a little Stanford MBA right there about, if you're not making mistakes, you're not pushing hard enough as an entrepreneur. So you should welcome the mistakes. And as you make them or you have the problems, embrace them and know that you're moving forward and you're pushing very, very hard to get to where you want to go. That's great advice, Charlie. Very, very good. Listen, guys, this has been fantastic. I mean, TaxCure, the transparent marketplace that's really connecting taxpayers to really top professionals throughout the United States. What a great platform. It's been an honor to have you both on the show. Charlie, now that I can call you Charlie, that I got to know you a little bit. Thanks so much for coming on the DotCom magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thanks so much.